Hi everybody, Russ on the West Ham Network. Hope you are all safe and well. It's almost the weekend. Kinda. Thursday, innit? We're getting there. We're getting there. Not used to it because you have these short weeks of the bank holidays and yet you have a 5-day week and I'm absolutely shattered. Anyway, I hope you're all safe and well. If you're new in here, give it a like, give it a comment, give it a share, give it a subscribe, maybe become a channel member. All that good stuff. Just point to a few things. Last night we had a Noble quiz, a quiz all about Mark Noble. It's all about you. It's all about Mark Noble, baby. And yeah, it was good fun. Good fun. So feel free to go and have a look. Let me know how many questions, how many you get right. Put it in the comments at the bottom. No cheating, no cheating. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Also, tomorrow night, anyone in the Hornchurch, Romford, Gideon Park, that end of the woods, there's a really good night on tomorrow night. I'll be there. A few others will be there, I'm sure, as well. It's Waldy and Stuart Slater, who are always brilliant. Matty Effrington, will be interesting to hear from him. And Sinks as well, so it'll be a good night. So I think there's a couple of tickets left. So yeah, text Ian or give him a call. And it will let you know if you're in the area. I think it's 20 quid a ticket. Absolute bargain. It'll be a good night. And also, next Wednesday, we have got Trevor Morley on the show doing a live Q&A. They've been going down really well, these live Q&As, giving you the opportunity to talk to and ask questions to, your West Ham heroes. And so we got Morley on. So it'll be a bit of a giggle next week. So just to mark your card for that. So let's see if we've got the chat. It's, as I said, we're going to do a transfer window review show today. In terms we do it every couple of weeks. We do a bit of a hodgepodge where we bring loads of rumours together into one show, just so you guys don't have to do it more than anything. Happy Hammer, oi oi, hope you're well, Vishal. Good afternoon to you. Peter's in the house. Indeed, TikTok, I still think we'll have a poor transfer season. Let's wait and see, mate. We need to have our best ever if we are to stay in and around the top 6 and possibly go higher. Totally agree. Lee, good afternoon to you. Gaz is here. Tell's here. Hope you're well. Tell, free Pampers on Eve every seat on Sunday. We're going to do a thing about Nobes tomorrow lunchtime show. It's going to be dedicated to Nobes, so keep an eye out for that. Everyone's talking to each other. Ludders in the chat. Good evening, Ludders. Good afternoon, rather. So we got English Yardies in there. Artel's in there. Love a rumour. Well, you've come to the right place. All the rumours are here. What we got here? Only linked with 12,000. It's about right. And we haven't even finished the season yet, which is impressive. David Reed, oi irons. Hope you're well. So as I said, what we do is we bring Hammers headlines tonight. We haven't got all the rumours. I've kept one back for the Hammers headlines later on. And so keep an eye out for that. We talk about the Man City game, sort of Man City's injury crisis, West Ham's injury boosts. We talk about Yarmolenko, obviously, and also the transfer rumour as well. So keep an eye out for that. Kimbo's in the house as well. Good afternoon, everyone. Poker Max, I think we need to focus on Nketiah. He's mustard, says Poker Max. There we go. I'm not going to cover Nketiah today or Brozier because they've already been. Anton did a great job talking about that this week as well. Obviously, Tuesdays and Wednesdays is Anton's day because I'm in the office. So we work it out quite well. More interesting. Yeah, it is. And so wait till 5 o'clock. You find out all the people who are potentially out for Man City. It's quite a few. And we moan about our injury crisis with our centre-backs. Indeed. Man City will come to us with 2 or 3 looking to be up at half-time. That's fine about Man City later on. Yada, yada, yada. Right. Let's start. So as I said, we've got not loads, but we've got here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. That's all right. Chris, good afternoon to you. Now that Newcastle play at the Lingard race will make it happen, I just feel they will reach a compromise that we'll talk about. We may well talk about Lingard. We haven't spoken to him about him for a while, but we might be talking to him. I may talk to him about him in a minute. So let's start with this gentleman. Let's go like that. So apparently West Ham are set to. Terrible tickle at the back of my throat. I do apologise. West Ham are set to push ahead with our interest in signing Konstantinios Mavropanos. Konstantinos Mavropanos. Easy for you to say. In the summer transfer window. That's according to a report from Blin, who claimed that the Hammers have registered their interest in signing the Arsenal-owned centre-back this summer. But it's so he's on Arsenal's books, but he plays in Stuttgart, and we're interested in him. Presuming that that means we've made an inquiry for the Greek ace. Stuttgart have an option to sign the 24-year-old from Arsenal for just £3 million this summer. So he's obviously on loan with an obligation to buy or an option to buy at the end of the summer. And they allegedly are prepared to buy him for £3 million and then flip him and sell him to West Ham for £17 million. Blink reckon the Hammers have been quoted £17 million from Stuttgart. That sounds like a really good value to me. He's a very good player. He's been a real hit with Stuttgart. 30 Bundesliga outings this season, 4 goals, average of just under 2 tackles a game, over 2 interceptions a game, 5 clearances per game. He's also won an average of 3 aerial duels per game. Considering his fine form in the Bundesliga, there's a good chance that they'll be snapping him. They'll take the £3 million option and then seemingly prepare to sell him on for an instant profit. The Arsenal-owned player is a top-class defender and possesses all the physical attributes needed to be a success in the Premier League. I don't know why Arsenal haven't kept him on really, but I suppose with Ben White and people like Gabriel, they're very strong in that respect, I suppose. Right age as well. And the Bundesliga's official website has described the Arsenal loanee as an excellent defender, as a gladiator. And if West Ham sign Mavropanos for £17 million, I think it'd be a bloody good deal. Absolutely bloody good deal. So we've got for those of you new, we have the whole rumour ratings. We have the Russie rumour rating, the Triple R, the official rumour rating, and it's just my indication of how I think it could happen. I put him down, and you'll see there, let me go full screen so you can see. I put him down for a 6 out of 10. A 6 out of 10. There's definitely, he's got the attributes. We know Moyes likes a big, domineering centre-half. The only fly in the ointment is, surely it will be more than £17 million. If, he's 24, he seems to be quite, and there's something a little bit dodgy about it. There's something a little bit weird about it. A little bit sort of like, I know we love a deal, but it just seems a little bit, we'll wait and see. Let's have a few in the chat. Should join Hammers on the free transfer. We'll see. Seeing as we will lose a few, we'll have to get a few in unless some of the youngsters be given a chance. He'd be a great signing. I definitely nailed the name. Konstantinos Mavropanos. Easy. He's still an Arsenal player. Great bit of business. It's an amazing bit of business. It does seem a bit weird, doesn't it? So yeah, it does. A bit like an half a daily deal, indeed. So we'll see what happens. What a side if we sign everyone. If we sign everyone we're linked to, we'll have about 5 million players. Has Belotti signed? He hasn't yet. I still think that could be on the cards. Thought you would have had Adele ratings. Rumour has very good. Rumour has it. Very good. Afternoon Oz. Hope you're well. Costs a bit for the old letters. They don't charge by letter, do they anymore? Is it? Because wasn't it when we signed? There was someone we signed, and we didn't have enough Zs, and so for a while they were offering upside down, sort of to the left ends. But I think was it Usiaskalainen was always a good one because it went all the way around the top of his shirt. But yes, Mavropanos would be quite good on the money if it was 10p a letter. How many times did he play for Arsenal? Can't see why he'd be on loan if he was decent in the Prem. Well, I think he was young, and I don't think he was. By the sounds of it, I mean they've got Ben White and Gabriel are basically there too, aren't they? Really, you think. And they've let Jose Mari go. They let Callum Chambers go as well. So clearly they've got a couple in reserve. But why would you put in a £3 million obligation? That's an absolute fantastic deal from Stuttgart. Crazy. We'll talk about J-Lings in a minute. But also I'd love to see him. It reminds you of, yes, Craig Bellamy and sort of Arnautovic, those little bastard players, isn't it? Let's move on to the next gentleman. We're starting with defenders at the moment. Another one that I'm going to butcher the pronunciation of as well. The Hammers have confirmed interest in signing Nafei Ag- agreed. Naf- Naif agreed. That would do. From League On club Rennes. He joined Rennes in 2020, and apparently we were interested in doing a deal to secure his signature last summer. Although we eventually opted to sign Zuma. So the idea was last summer. You might remember this gentleman. He was one of 2 or 3 we were looking at, and obviously we stumped up for Zuma. And actually, as a result of not moving, he got an improved contract from Rennes, which is usually what happens with these types of things, to be honest, anyway. But a top source has said that a possible move has now been confirmed, and there is definite interest in signing him in the transfer window. 26 as a contract that runs out, a new contract he signed last season, actually, that runs out in 2022, would cost around 20 million quid. And he has 78 appearances for Rennes in total. He's a full Moroccan international with 19 caps to his name. And he's left-sided. I was about to say, and he's left-sided. And so David's come up, and he's a left-sided. So we could see what happens there. It'd be an interesting one. We also had the one... I don't know what else. Anyway. What we got here? Sign Ariola or buy Dean Henderson. Probably sign Ariola, wouldn't it? He's a recent shout. He's left-sided. I'm not impressed with our striking targets. None of them are good enough to knock Antonio on the bench. Belotti is the only one good enough. I totally agree. In terms of the old Rusty rumour ratings, it's a 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10 because there's been interest in this guy before. Quite high interest it was. By the sounds of it, not a flip of a coin, but, it's down to between him and Zuma. And I think... Was it Kletika? That wasn't Kletika. I think it was down to him and Zuma in terms of who he wanted. And we've seen that he's looking at the French league quite a bit. There's a lot of French and Bundesliga, Ligue 1 and Bundesliga players we've been linked with. And I think that's going to be sort of particularly Ligue 1 because they're all on their arse in terms of money. So there's some real bargains to be had. That's for sure. Who we got? Kieran's in the house. Good evening, Kieran. Hope you're well. Little Russ, indeed. Little Russ is back. We want actions, not words. Sign someone. Actions speak louder than words, please, says Paul Parkinson. You're totally right. Milenkovic, that was it. God, dear, I forgot about him. We'll probably come back in for him, I think, as well. Ending up with 5 centre-backs, 5 centre-halves, 2 left-backs, 2 midfielders, and 5 goalkeepers and no striker. Sounds about right. Right, so let's keep with the defender theme. Defender theme. There's this gentleman. Where's his stuff? There he is. Carl McCLELLAND. Carl McCLELLAND, yeah. He's not actually a defender, but it doesn't matter. We're apparently being linked to him, and we've joined the race to sign the Rangers sensation, Carl McCLELLAND, according to a report in the Daily Record. The talented youngster has rejected the chance to extend his stay at Ibrox. He will now walk away as a free agent within weeks. Sheffield United, Cardiff City and Huddersfield have all showed interest in the young defender, and now the Hammers have joined the race as well. The Northern Ireland Youth International is highly rated at Ibrox, but feels it will be hard for him to break into the senior team. Come to West Ham. The 20-year-old keen on gaining first team experience. It's highly unlikely that he can get that at West Ham, although West Ham have a better chance of signing him than the Championship clubs. He's yet to make his first team debut, but he's impressed on loan at Falkirk this season. Rangers demand a percentage of his next sale, and getting him on board won't be difficult. Surely if we sign him, he'll be one for the future. The youngster has made Steven Gerrard's bench several times when he was there, but he's failed to make the squad under Giovanni von Bronckhorst. Leon King is gradually emerging as a player to make the senior grade after another impressive display against Dundee the other day, and that's basically blocked McCLELLAND's path in terms of development. A move to West Ham would obviously appealed to him, the size of the club. Also Northern Ireland internationals as well. We had Anthony Marshall, who we got from... Callum Marshall, from Linfield. We signed him, and he's been banging the goals in for the under-18s. So it's not only the first thing. I like the fact that we're trying to get these players in. For me, I think this one's and also Oh, Moisey likes a Scottish player. I've put an 8 out of 10. I can see this one happening in the same way that we signed, as I said, Callum Marshall earlier last transfer window. What we got here, we should pay 10 million for Ariola. There's no point spending 20 million. I totally agree. Coletta Carr run out of steam. Does seem it. I haven't heard anything about Coletta Carr for a while, to be honest. Rangers youngster won't get into first team when our youngsters can't get any team, so we'll go to the Fizzy Pop League. Well, I think, it's developing. For me, as I said, last season we bought a couple of youngsters into the youth team, and they've been doing really well. He's had really good reviews where he's gone. Number one English shirt, Soccer Age should have had a got it. Don't worry. In Frankfurt we trust. I don't know what's going on there. I have no idea what's going on. I just let them all carry on, and you have a good old chat. Right, let's move on. Let's talk about another Scottish player in terms of Callum Ramsey. Now, Callum Ramsey, I've just realised I've got my notes around the wrong way. Callum Ramsey, apparently West Ham are in the race to sign the £6 million Aberdeen defender, Calvin Ramsey, but it appears Liverpool are probably going to win the race for the Scottish talent. Leeds United also look like they're going to miss out. Ramsey's 18 has been in stunning form for Aberdeen this season, having broken into the senior side last term and played 6 times. This time around, he's clocked up 33 appearances, having a hand in 10 goals, 10 assists. His form has attracted the interest of teams from down south, and several news outlets report that it looks like Liverpool might be winning the race to sign him, but West Ham may well come back fighting in terms of offering him more likely first team football than Liverpool. A fee of around 6 million could be enough to change hands for the defender. The report also states that Leeds, us, Southampton, Crystal Palace have all been considering a move this summer, but Liverpool apparently in the front seat. He has a deal until the summer of 2024. He has enjoyed first team exposure, and that freedom and constant game time has got the best out of him. It's the form that's convinced several clubs to want to try and sign him, but he will not, obviously, Liverpool won't be playing regularly, maybe more likely at West Ham. There's no chance Ramsey or any right back in football could, he's a right back, could displace someone like, Trent Alexander-Arnold. West Ham, we've got quite a few right backs, to be fair. Vladimir Soufal, Ben Johnson, Ryan Fredericks, Ashby. But maybe Ben Johnson see more on the left-hand side. Ryan Fredericks probably won't be here next season. So, that would then mean there'll be 2 or 3. Maybe Ashby takes a step up. Who knows? Southampton themselves have got the lovely pronounced Tino Veramento and Carl Walker-Peters. So it's going to be interesting to see where he goes. But he's a good player, very good player. I put him down as a 4 out of 10 because of the fact that we've got a lot of right backs. At the club at the moment. This will change obviously in the summer, I'd imagine. But yeah. I wouldn't mind. I'd love to see someone like, I'd love to see us get someone like, or Aaron Hickey as well from Bologna. There's we'll talk about that in Hammer's headlines actually, because there's a Bologna link with someone. We mentioned, who we got here? Is Ramsey straight ahead of the others? Very good. Slightly off topic, but the Arsenal have offered 50 million for Jesus. Good deal, I think. He's not related to Gordon, is he? Well, he's Scottish, but I don't think so. Maybe they get him to the half-time meals. Yarma to stay a Hammer, keep Noble too. I don't think Yarma's staying, mate. But anyway, we'll talk about that at 5 o'clock tonight. I've never played Liverpool with their right backs. Bit like if Hippie goes to Arsenal. Yeah, but then I think I can see Hickey against Arsenal more likely, because I suppose they've got what's his face, isn't they? They've got Kieran Tierney. But then if Liverpool would go, why would Liverpool look at Hickey? Liverpool were talking about him as well, and they've got what's his face, got Robinson, so I'd like to see us go, to be honest. Who won the quiz last night? Kent Hammers won the quiz last night. What a surprise. Just name one striker that we would sign just name one striker that you would sign if you could for West Ham realistically. Belotti. I'd sign Belotti. All that, yeah. No, I tell you what, no. Realistic striker. The one I'd sign is the guy from Union Berlin, Teoru Anawari, his name is. That's who I'd get. because he's just basically Mikel Antonio, but a younger version. And I think that's how we play. That's how we play. But that's who I'd sign. Some people said Belotti. Some people said Tony Cottee. Fair play. Fair play. Right, let's keep going. Who's next? Because I've got the order buggered up. Lewis Porter. Let's get my notes out. Now we're talking about Yarmolenko in the Hammers headlines, but obviously potentially, spoiler alert, he's set to leave in the summer. And obviously Keane Lewis Porter is reported being the man to line up to replace his spot in the squad. That's according to a report from The Guardian, who claimed the Hammers boss has been looking at the possibility, and we know he's been on the watch for Lewis Porter for a while. He's been to see him. I think it was Easter Monday. He was at the game quite openly. No Expector Clouseau, no sort of like, flat cap and a funny moustache or a newspaper with the eyes come. Quite openly, he was at Hull watching, and it's believed that he was watching Lewis Porter, and he's a big fan of him. He expects to obviously be a busy man this summer in terms of Mr. Moyes, but the 21-year-old Hull City attacker is firmly on the Hammers' radar. He's a talented youngster to come in and fill the boots left by Yarmolenko. I think he's going to be I think it'd be a fantastic addition. We've got form bringing in Championship players. We've got form bringing in players from Hull as well, and they're doing quite well, Mr. Jared Bowen. What I like about him mostly is his diversity. Very similar. He's not a dancer. He doesn't dance with Ashley Banjo and stuff, but he's diversity in terms of football, where he's not very similar to Bowen. Bowen can play behind, behind the front man, he can play as a front man, he can play as a wing. Keane Lewis Porter is exactly the same. He can play left or right, he can play through the middle, as a centre forward as well. He's been on fire for Hull City this season in League One. He's bagged 13 goals, 6 assists, and he has last season. Sorry, my fault. In League One, last season he had 13 goals and 6 assists. This season he's got 12 goals and 4 assists. He's a real sort of live wire. I think the fans would love him. Really quick, and a really good finisher, which helps. In many ways, very similar to Mr. Bowen. So you could have one on each side. Hull are looking for about 20 million for him, which I think is not a bad deal considering we paid 17 million for Bowen. So, it's not too bad. I think it'd be a superb bit of business. That fee was according to the Hull Daily Mail. But I think this one's got legs. In terms of the old Rusty Rumour rating, I put it 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10, because I think this guy guy's got it. This guy ticks lots of West Ham, David Moyes, MOT boxes. He's young, he's British as well, he's there's sell-on value as well. I mean, that's what West Ham, it's what we think about sometimes. He's not going to come and we're not going to lose money out of him. So I think it's definitely Lewis Porter is going to be the man. I hope he comes in. Everyone's talking to each other. Lewis Porter. Fred, hope you're well. So James is in. Hope you're well, James. Fred, good well. We'll end up with Andre Ayew and Benteke. Do you remember there was I think it was January where he took a picture of Benteke in the gym with crossed hammers, and I thought he was going to sign Benteke. Yeah, there we go. Could have probably done with some of him, to be honest, sometimes. Everyone's talking to each other. There's loads of potential, but doubt he's ready to make it week in, week out. I think basically Lewis Porter will go. Don't forget Jared Bowen. We signed him, and he was very much like Ben Rama was 2 seasons ago. Always on the bench or take him off. Always on the bench, take him off. And Lewis Porter's the same. I think he'd be the same. He would take it. I think it would take a season to blend in. Blood in. That's it. Blood into the squad. So for me, I think that I could see that happening. So I don't think he comes in and straight away starts, but he comes in and I think for a decent British player, you're going to be paying 15 to 20 million quid anyway for him. And so we paid 17 million for Bowen, or something like 17, 19 million something. So it's similar numbers a few years on. So I think I can see it's happening. I was going to say. What we got here? All our decent signings come from the Championship or the Czech League, indeed. Russ, but do we play that way because we have Antonio? Of course we do. It's happening, says Sharky. Anton's Aren't you going to be on the train to London, my friend? West Ham taking the bench warming toxic Deadwood. Identify it as toxic unless and useless and not good enough. Okay, well then, I tell you, Raniak's doing well, isn't it? So there we go, Tova. I don't really take much take much notice out of him, to be honest. Ooh, Rush, look at those images. Indeed. I take a bit of inspiration from Anton, so I've been using them. 9 out of 10. That is ironclad guarantee. Well, it is indeed. It is indeed. Oh, he's driving down later on. There we go. Robin, hope you're well. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Anyone else? Kieran's there. Everyone's talking to Anton. Potter. Yeah, I said Potter. Got to say Porter. Sorry, I meant Potter. Lewis Porter, our new celebrity. Bowen is about 2 or 3 years older. Giving him 2 years and he'll be in. That's what I mean. Totally right. I think KLP, I like that we've got the acronym already, is direct. That all the, apart from Snap Brennan, yeah, 2. We have a very competitive front 4. Yeah, I mean, if we've got bloody Brennan, it'd be a fantastic player. But we'll see what happens with bloody Forest and who goes up. Mila's going to a first game. God, Takasi has gone quiet, but I think to be honest, Fred, I think it's because it's the end of the season and Burnley is still trying to stay up. I think that's why, to be honest. No one talk about the left back signing. We need one left back. I still think we might end up putting a bid in for Aaron Hickey, but don't quote me. Although we did have, I spoke to, was it last week or the week before? Braun from Hoffenheim, and we're looking at him. And he looks mustard. Russ, if you could pick one player from the under-23s, make a breakthrough, who would it be? I mean, I know Anton will say Lacey, but I'm going to say Harrison Ashby. I think he is the next big thing in right backs. I think he is brilliant, and I've seen him many times the under-23s, and he's got it. He has got it. He's got that swagger. He holds himself like a player, like a decent footballer as well. Would you take Richarlison if we got the chance? No, I wouldn't. Well, we got Kevin Phillips. I keep saying it now. Leeds going down would be cheap for us. I think he's going to go for everything to be easy. Hickey is easy to spot indeed. Would still love us to take a punt on Hostic as well. Well, I mean, we've spoken about it, in the fact that Danny Kuczynski apparently has offered us Hostic on loan. And we've said no, but I will see. I imagine it might be as a backup. We'll see what happens with that. Get Kamara from Watford, left back. We'll see. Absolutely, I think that's the right tip. I don't know. Afternoon, Rob, Connor Coventry, understand. He is underestimated. He's had a great season for MK Dons. Hickey or Sosa will be brilliant as a left back. Dennis of Watford, obviously up front. Now he's a good player. What's happened to Baptiste? Injured? Or I think he's injured because he hasn't been playing for the under-23s either. Anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about this guy. I don't know if you've heard of him. His name is... I'm not very good at pronouncing names. Jesse Lingard. No, we'll call him Jesse. So apparently David Moyes has he's ordered West Ham to sign Jesse Lingard. Half the press. Unbelievable exclusive on the West Ham network. David Moyes wants to sign Jesse Lingard. Oh my God. And that's according to several news outlets. They report that Newcastle have backed away from negotiations due to the 29-year-old's hefty wage demands, and they've got more money coming out than there is anyone else. It is understood that West Ham are now in touch with Lingard's people in a bid to re-sign the England international who spent the second half of last season at the London Stadium. If Lingard hasn't done as good, if Lingard didn't... What did I write there? Yeah, okay, makes sense. I know what I said. Because he had such a good thing, I think people were like, oh, well, he'd be good. We'd get him back in. If he hadn't been so good, I think we'd have told him to do one, to be honest. But obviously the speculation is predictable, and he is bound to be rife all the way until the point that Lingard does eventually find himself a new club. We know he still has his flat in the same block as David Moyes overlooking the stadium. If Newcastle are balking at his wage demands, won't West Ham do exactly the same? Although we have just offered Declan Rice £200,000 a week. Whether or not, I'm a bit conflicted, but I think it will happen. But I don't think... It's reported that it's a £10 million signing on fee, which I think is fair enough. I think it's fair enough. We'd have paid. I mean, Man United wanted 20 million, weren't it? In the transfer window for him. Never going to happen. And apparently 150 grand a week, which seems a bit steep. I think there'd be a compromise to be made there. So yeah, no, I've never heard this bloke either. Never heard of him. Russ is actually able to play left back. He's not, but Ben Johnson I think will end up being our left back, and then Ashby can obviously fill in on the right with Soufal as well. Lingard, get him back. Never heard this bloke. Never. I think it was 150 grand, not 15 grand. If it was 15 grand, I think he'd already be at West Ham. I think it'd be great to have back. I think there's times where this season you think you want someone with his impact to come off the bench, so to speak. But we'll see. But I think it's. We'll see what happens. It should be an interesting transfer window, especially if we squeak into Europa. We have a number of spots to fill. We have a number of players leaving, and some of the entourage must be close. You're totally right. There's a lot happening. We'll talk about one of the guys leaving at 5:00 tonight. Buffalo Snowy, hope you're well. What about his Wayne Jabon? We've got, as I said, 150 grand a week, 10 million signing on fee. I think that's. The signing on fees are right, but no, 150 grand a week. Scott doesn't think that he's going to be coming. I heard he wants 150. I would say put Zoom on the wage and make a difference in bonus if he produces some of the. Good shout. Sign him up, says Ballon Dawson. Ronda and Tony. Lingard's only hope of making the World Cup is going to West Ham. We make him look great. You're totally right. It's a world. I think we forget it's a World Cup year. These players have the best part of. I mean, basically, I think Lingard's ruined his chances. I think Man United have ruined his chances of getting to the World Cup because they didn't let him go. It wasn't Lingard. It was Man United that let him go. So, I don't think it was. I don't think it was fair. So I think that's his last chance really. Anton's talking to everybody. Would you go for Tierra? Of course. If it's 40 million quid, absolute bargain. Any day of the week. He wanted 160, or he wanted 150 to come in, so we've already saved 10 grand already. Our problem this season has been finishing. Lingard can finish chances. You're totally right. Everyone's talking to each other. So Anton was talking about himself. Now he's talking for the West Ham network. The man can multitask. Got a funny feeling we'll do City as well. Not many of you have yet. Oh, hit the thumbs. Oh, yeah, just hit the thumbs up. Yeah. Hit the thumbs up if you are a West Ham fan. If you're not, don't hit the thumbs up. Let's be fair. Win or lose could make or break. It could. I mean, obviously, Man City trouncing Wolves. That's a massive favour. 1 point would be would guarantee us 7th. But there's a chance. Obviously, we're still going for 6th. Win on Sunday rather, and. It's all to play for. Be exciting. City they will score every moment they have, but they've got a few injuries. We'll talk about that at 5:00 tonight. Man United won't play much either. Indeed, walk like an Egyptian. What? Judging Tierney's purely by what he does on the pitch, he would be a great option as number 10. Yep. Is Suchik his way out? I don't think so. But obviously they'll be renegotiating his renegotiations again in the summer, so we'll see what happens there. We have to stop as fans bashing, looking for cheapos. We've been brainwashed by years of make do's. Let's look forward to buying the finished product and not a prospect. Yes, agreed. But I think we'll be doing some cheapos as well. So I think there's a lot of freebies out there, won't be? Would you turn your nose up to Belotti, John, or Lingard, or Tarkowski, or Boubacar Kamara from Marseille? There's some good cheapos out there, mate. We'll see. Stick thumbs up and watch him squirm. Lingard has so much football to play. I mean, yeah, you get a few years in him, that's for sure. 150 say game. It's not stupid wage. It sounds bonkers saying that though. I just think it's a little bit too much. But I suppose you're not. But then with a £10 million signing on fee as well, so it's not like I suppose you can save it on there. But we'll see. Make sure you like the stream today, please, guys. And if you haven't already, do what Happy Hammerette says. Right, let's move on. A few more to do. I forgot Rusty rating. Rusty Rumour rating is 8 out of 10. It's gone down a little bit. It was almost a dead cert. I mean, eight's a good score. I used to do a 5 point score. There wasn't enough differentiation, so I went to an 8. I went to a 10 point score. Next up is this guy, Tierra, David Tierra. Now, as I was saying about League On and stuff like that, I think you're going to see a lot of players linked to us and other clubs from League On because they're, as I said, the league's on its arse, and so you get some really good bargains out of there. And I think we're going to see a lot of them, a lot of people clambering for League R players. There's some good players out there. We've obviously played some. We played Leon. We've spoken about Thiago Mendes. We've been interested in him and going in for Tete when his short-term loan finishes, his short-term deal finishes with Leon. So there's a few players there, and obviously we've been looking at the likes of Coletta Carr and Boubacar Kamara and a lot of the strikers. The Clermont striker we're looking at, the Strasbourg striker we've been looking at. So there's a lot, and I think that's going to be our hunting ground, to be honest, because you'll find some good names. And there's this guy for Rennes, another Rennes player, Rennes attacker David Tierra, as a possible summer signing. 25, a lot of experience in France. He's already played for Lyon, Lille, Strasbourg, and he's currently playing for Rennes. He's picked up over 200 senior appearances across his career, either on the wing or more centrally this season. He's impressed with fine performances domestically, 21 league goals and a couple of assists too. No doubt it's stats like that Moyes is obviously looking at in terms of quality. As I said, it seems like there's a few options for in France, particularly in terms of central midfield. But this guy can play on the wing as well. We like these players who can play in several positions. Now, for me, I think he is at the Rusty Rimmer rating 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. But I think it could be. I think he's set up. I see he's played a number of clubs, and I think he's found his feet at Rennes a little bit now. And he's sort of the a first teamer, and Rennes having a great season. So we'll see. What we got here? Will Moyes loan out Alcaflex, Ashby, and Perkins, and bloody Baptiste as his Perkins. I can see him. I can see a couple where he could be loaning out. Baptiste maybe, Perkins maybe, but he likes Perkins and Ashby, and those are two that he's been earmarked for. And I think it was when we had Tony Cart, was it Tony? No, Pat Holland on, and he was saying when he spoke to David, yes, personally about bringing in the youth team and stuff like that. Because obviously Patsy's still much in the game, very much doing sort of scouting and stuff for several clubs. He said he doesn't tend to look at. He thinks players need to develop. Particularly under 23s isn't the hunting ground that the reserve team football was in the combinations league, and so they take a little bit longer to blood in, and I understand that totally. And so maybe I think about the age of 21 they start looking like properly about breaking in now. So we'll see. Obviously, Lacy's on that road. On the way to 12 or 100k. If we're on that principle, we're on the road to 1 million, aren't we, really? Bringing Rashford, if you could bring in potato salad for Souček. How much does Stay playing in the role of Lingard coming? Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. I think, for me, I think with Declan Rice, the whole thing around yesterday was the club showing that we want him to stay. He was never going to sign that. As I said, my source said he was never going to sign the contract. But it was more of a gesture, really. But for Rice, it's not about the money, because he could sign that, and it's got a minimum release fee and stuff like that. But then he's tied to the club for 8 years. If it was about the money, he would have signed the contract extensions the last 2 or 3, but he hasn't. It's about development, and if we see the players come in, if you see the likes of Lingard, if you see him investing in good players, exciting players, even people like Lewis Potter and people like that, I think that's what he wants, and that's what we all want. I'd rather sign a Bulldog than a Terrier. Well, not with my little Yorkshire Terrier. She's mental. Can I see getting only one German? Is Diop on his way back to League? I believe Lyon were looking at him, weren't they? We need to bring quality to push our starters. We must surround it with talented, high IQ players. Indeed. Wouldn't turn my hoot up any of them you mentioned. They may be free, but not cheap. You're right, they're not cheap. They're not cheap. Right. Can Ren do a 2-for-1? Maybe. We'll have a word. We seem to be, yeah, I mean, we're going to be getting a lot of them. That's for sure. Rice not staying, going to Man City in the summer. Get over it. He's gone. Why would he? Man City, they won't be able to pay him the wages at the moment with Haaland coming in, will they? He's going to be on something like £500,000 a week in here. Something ridiculous like that, 400 grand a week. They won't be able to do that. Love to see City go for Phillips. What we got here? The positive advice and Paul, as always. Hopefully we don't do the quadruple, as they'll be unbearable. Totally right. Reese, hope you're well, my friend. Russ, you know these contracts are not worth the paper they're written on. Players want to go, they will. They certainly are. You're totally right. And that's the point. Yeah, you're right. They are totally not worth it. But I suppose they give some... they give some, not reassurance, but yeah, I mean, with the whole thing with, Payet and Arnie, that was just them, wasn't it? I mean, to be honest, Lingard could have done it, but he chose not to. He could have gone on strike. Really, I'm just going to move my could have gone on strike, but he didn't. So we'll see. Scott's off to work. Good luck to you, son. Good luck to you. Right, let's keep going. I think one couple more. Let's see who's next. Ollie Watkins. Ollie bloody Watkins. Oh, we've spoken about him quite a bit at the moment. Now, according to a report in the Daily Mail yesterday, so definitely read it, pinch of salt. West Ham believe they have a strong chance of signing Ollie. He's already doing the sign. Strong chance of signing Ollie Watkins. The Hammers believe a potential squad overhaul at Aston Villa means a move for Watkins is not out of the question. The Daily Mail suggests that Villa will be looking for a substantial profit on the striker that signed from Brentford for 33 million quid. However, the prospects of European football could see the Hammers move for the England international more likely. I think it'll be an excellent signing. I think it'll be great for us. He's got pace, he's got power. He's a frustrating finisher. He's particularly first season, scored a lot of goals, but he missed a lot as well, a bit like Tammy Abrahams did. But he started to find his feet a little bit more. He would definitely pay much needed competition for Antonio. 50 million seems a lot of money, particularly when you look at Haaland's gone for 51 million, whatever it is, but that was written in the contract. Gabriel Jesus, 50 million quid. Potentially to Arsenal. It seems like the number for any sort of striker in the Premier League. I don't know with Watkins. He's young. He's British as well. He's got Premier League experience. Moisey likes all these type of things. I think Villa would go. He's not a Steven Gerrard player. He's not a player that Steven Gerrard's brought in. Steven Gerrard wants to put his foot down on the squad and make the squad. I believe he didn't sign Ollie Watkins, did he? No, he didn't. It was arranged at the time. So in the same way that Moyes is finally getting rid of some of the deadwood, the Yarmolenkos this world, people like that who aren't necessarily his people. I could see the same with this, to be honest. But it's the price tag I'm a little bit worried about. I've put an 8 because I can see the tick boxes. It's just that number in it. That 50 million number is a lot. It's a lot of dollar in it. A lot of dollar. Let's see what people have said. 100 grand a bonus if he scores 20. Is that for Haaland or that for me? Is that the terms you're offering me, Gaz? Because I'll take them. If Rice goes to City, you couldn't blame him, and we could get Ake, Zinchenko, and 100 million exchange. Dave, I don't think he's going this season. Next season, I think we can. If there's not an improvement, I could see that happening. I could see him moving, and by then, City would have, he would be, City basically buy like one big player each year, don't they, really? And he could be their big player. And finally, Fernandinho signed a new extension to his contract. So, then the following year, he could come in. He's not going to stay. He will not win with We bottled it every time, sorry. Oh, Paul, you're full of the joys of spring. I think Watkins is overpriced, but I really think he'd be a good fit. I totally agree. He'd fit, but as I said, 50 million. But he seems to go right now, innit? if you're paying 20 odd million for someone who's, for someone like Lewis Potter, 50 million for a Premier League in England international. That's what he is, isn't it? We'll see. Watkins is a bit like a headless chicken. I like one, and I'd pay £25 million. Well, the thing is, because they've already spent £33 million from Brentford, they're not going to take a loss, are they? Because he's actually got himself in the England squad. It's the going rate. Why would Villa let him go? Who does Gerrard have in mind to replace him? Perhaps Suarez and various others that he's after. Oh, yeah, see, here we go, Suarez. Villa aren't going to sell us Watkins. If they did, it would be crazy money. Better, cheaper, and younger options available. That's what I mean, David. Also, I think there are better options available. The thing is, there are on paper. People want us to go out and buy the ready. Someone in the chat, I think, I can't remember, it was in the chat before, said, we shouldn't be going for the cheap options and But the thing is, this is the going rate for 20. This is the going rate for a player. It's a lot. For an England international. He's got that British tax on top because he's British, that homegrown tax. You're going to spend 50 million quid. If we went and bought someone like, say, Lewis Potter, no, not Lewis Potter, the Alex, but say someone from the French league, like we had Anton talked about Sasa from was it Stuttgart? I think it was Stuttgart, 17 million quid. People go, never heard of him. Never heard of him. Never heard of him. We should be buying these big players. So you never win. I don't think you ever win with transfers, to be honest. Rice will captain next season. He won't be going anywhere else. I think you're right. Paid 52 million. That's it. Doesn't mention agent fees, which is probably the same. You're totally right. Ollie, I see him fitting in. Didn't sign him, but he's playing him ahead of Ings, who he did sign. Good point. Lots of clickbait about Deckers. Of course, it's going to be. And mate, it's going to be loads of clickbait about Deckers because he's sort of like, he's going to be the story. And until he says, I'm not going in the summer, which he won't do, because why would you? You're always going to keep your options open. It's the same as everyone else. You're in a job. You're never going to say, I'm never leaving this company. Then that company go, right, okay, all right, we'll just not treat you like rubbish, but we'll, carry on. He has to sort of say that he's, he says all the right things at the Players' Awards, but he's not going to say, well, good luck to him next season because I'm pissing off to Man City. Not going to say that as well, is he? Right, what have we got here? All right, I'm saying that we only need to finish the next season to get Champions League. That's very doable. We only need to get Champions. We'll have to get Champions League. I suppose there's the new thing, isn't there? Extra place. If that goes through, I don't know how it all works. We always blow it. It's the West Ham way. Support West Ham 40s. We've been playing it all our lives, man. All our lives. If we get Champions League next year, we'll still be off ski. Probably not. I don't think so. Moyes would improve Watkins. I think he would, actually. I don't think people think Rice is leaving. 3-year deal. Chelsea won't spend huge money. That's what I mean. I went through all of them with this guy yesterday when he was saying that. I said, really? I said, because like Chelsea, they can't really buy anyone. No one really knows what they're going to do. The new owners come in. Man United, they've got a new manager. We know they've been literally every year they've had a different manager, right? Changing there. Surely you want to give it a year for it to settle down a little bit. City have just spent out big on Haaland. Liverpool won't buy big when we spend that much on a defensive midfielder, which he is, and they've got Fabinho as well there, who they rate really highly. Decker's obviously better, but he doesn't. And then that's it. He wouldn't go to Spurs, wouldn't go to Arsenal. So the other option would be going abroad, and the only team that could really afford it is probably Real Madrid or Barcelona. Probably Real Madrid, to be honest. And Real Madrid's, Deck will probably want to win the Premier League before he goes and starts winning European stuff outside of the UK. Want to win the FA Cup and and if he wants to win the Champions League, then maybe he goes to a Real Madrid. Wouldn't begrudge him that at all. But he's, I don't think that's a bit too early in his career. He's only 22. He's got 10 years ahead of him. But even Real Madrid, look at Modric is still playing at God knows how old. He's 157 or something like that. He's still playing. Iniesta played in Barcelona for many, many years. So did Xavi. So it's not like in his position, he'll become even more. And because he's already got that sort of passing ability, he'll do that sort of withdrawal quarterback role that Steven Gerrard did towards the end of his career. He could have another 13 years at least in the game. Mark Noble's retiring. He was 35 now, so anything's possible now. So he's got plenty of time in his hand. Conor Gallagher, indeed. Great player. Rice doesn't want to stay. Get on with your life. Not worry, not a bigger club than football. Let him go. He won't going to go, mate. Dawson, totally agree. Next season, he isn't going. Can't see it. Captain and big fish next season. I'm sorry. I've got my eye. I'm sorry, Ludders. This eye keeps twitching at the moment. So if I keep rubbing it, I do apologise. I have a. It's not. I don't think it's a sty, but it's a very watery eye at the moment. I think it's hay fever. Do you think Antonio's role changes a little next season? Depends who we bring in. Rich. If we bring in a ready-made forward, so a Belotti or someone like that, then his role will change, I think, and it'll have to. If we bring in someone like Hosek on loan, it won't change. Has 3-year Euro ban for us, 3-game Euro ban, and Moyes I think gets a Euro ban, doesn't he as well? So that will probably take him out for if we get into the conference as qualifiers. So he has one round of qualifier home and away, and then the first groups match. If he gets done, if he gets announced, but surely Moyes will, because he gets. I don't think he gets a 3-match ban. I think Moyes will only get a 1-match ban because it was a yellow card. He wasn't given a red card, was he? Let's see what happens. His form could drop off a cliff and end up at Burnley. Nothing is guaranteed. You're totally right, my friend. So is the Athletics being taken away? Sounds like it. It's not being taken away, but sounds like UK Athletics are leaving the stadium. So I think they have to reimburse because they spent some money. I think 15-20 million quid they put into the project. So they have to do that. So yeah. So we'll see what happens with that. Russ getting emotional. I'm always getting emotional about Nobes, mate. You know me. He's allergic to being massive everywhere we go. Right. Russ, I am eating banana chips. Good luck to you. Noble will keep Rice on the straight and narrow even after retirement. Is waiting for signings. Do you know what, Brian? I think I agree that that's the point. But he'll never sign that extension. But it's almost like prove it. Prove. If you want to offer me this big money, you want me to stay. Actually, I want to see improvements in the team. And it's almost like they're not being held to ransom. I don't think that's the case, but I'd love that to be the case, if that makes sense. Must remember waterproof mascara on Sunday. Oh, God, yeah. Athletics was so much better in the 80s. It was. I mean, it was the height. Carl Lewis and people like that were the height of, the Olympics was always the biggest event. Now it's like on BBC Two highlights, isn't it, really? So yeah, I think it's not fair. No Lingard nor Porter. Go and get Origi to the rest. Who we get, I don't care, but Origi's a true. I like Origi. I think he'll end up going AC Milan by the sounds of it. But if he stays, I'd like to get him in. I think it'd be a great shout. How about Brownhill? We've spoken about Brownhill, not McTominay. Come on, Brownhill. Apparently, we've been tracking him for the last 18 months, and we're gonna. He's 26, and that's why a couple of them players I think be really good for the squad, because we need some ample replacements. So when someone like Souček's out or someone like Rice is out, we're not all shitting ourselves. Do you know what I mean? We're sort of, it's okay. Well, Brownhill will come. He'll do a job. He's not going to be as good as Declan Rice. But that's what we need. Those types of players. I really think Brownhill would improve our squad. That central midfield. He's a good player. Not a Declan Rice, not a Thomas Souček, not a. I'm trying to think of some other people. Not a Tiermans, not a Phillips, but a good squad player. And that's what we haven't got. Squad players. And I'm not talking about padding them out with Ugoka and Torres or stuff. I'm talking about getting people who would come in and you wouldn't see such a drop in consistency and stuff. And I think that's what I want. That's what I want in the summer. Next season, aim high, 5th, 6th, 7th will do. Teams are improving as well. So that's what I mean. Next season's going to be tough. That's why I wouldn't turn. So some people are turning those up to conference football. I'm not, because that's the easiest way to get into the simplest way to get into the Europa League the following year. Because Newcastle improving. We've spoken about Villa going to be improving. I think if Everton stay up, they're going to be improving because they're stayed up by the skin of their teeth. We've got the likes of Fulham. One of them will have a funny season and be up there. Always does, whether it's Fulham or Bournemouth or Luton or Notts Forest, Nottingham Forest. There's going to be some really interesting. There's going to be, and also the World Cup is going to fuck everything up as well in terms of people moving, not moving. So it's going to be a really interesting season next season. Seb Coe, Steve Yvette, Steve Cram, Roger Black, Chris Akabusi, friend of the channel, all those. It was great. Used to be love it. So right, real characters back then too. You're totally right. It was, and Carl Lewis was like one of the biggest sportsmen in the world. He was comparable with someone like Michael Jordan. You wouldn't get it now with Greg Rutherford or. My brain's gone to mush thinking about anyone really, any athletics people. But it's true. It's like athletics was there. It's not there anymore now. So they should have stripped out the athletics and turned Upton Park back into the home of. That would show that logic and forefront. Yeah, it would have done. But anyway, but they had a Crystal Palace anyway. Crystal Palace getting redone. Has Krasinski still got a war chest? By sounds of it, they're having. I was reading an article. It was the article I was reading. Is this one, which I'll probably talk about Hammer's headlines tomorrow. Actually, about they're all sitting down. They're all sitting down, and he's apparently, he's hopeful. Some hopes within the club that Krasinski will be pumping in another 50 million or more on top of the 100 million that Moyes can expect to spend. So that's a lot of dollar. If Rice leaves too soon, I can see it going pear-shaped. He's not stupid. He ain't. He's a very clever boy. McTominay can slot in centre-backs. Oh, no. I'm glad Dix is playing alongside. Okay, very good. Hammerette is good on it. Have a good look. Couple of look at the games. Better control and passing. He is very good. Trevor Morley's going to be awesome. Got some gems to ask him. No doubt you have. And Morley is an open book. Trevor's an open book. I've interviewed him before. He says, Russ, you can ask me anything. I don't care. You can ask me about Ian Bishop. You can ask me about that night. I don't care. Although we might not talk about it. Yeah. Usain Bolt was great. Yeah, but that's the exception to the rule, though, isn't it? That's the exception to the rule. Anyway, as I said, tonight we'll back for Hammer's headlines. 3 stories. One about Man City's defensive crisis in ahead of the Man City game. We'll talk about Yarmolenko. We'll talk about another transfer rumour as well, just to give you some more. And I'll be back tomorrow for Have You Say Friday. And we'll be talking about Mark Noble. So you can come on, have your say about Mark Noble. Not a tribute, a bit like a tribute show, but just talking about your memories of Mark Noble's time at the club. 18 seasons as a professional, been there for over 20 years. We had obviously the Noble quiz on yesterday. We've done the Noble era, 225 odd players he's played with, all that type of stuff. Mark who indeed. Pat's turned up right at the end. What did you miss? You missed an hour, mate. Anyway, go back and listen to it. Cheers, Happy Hammer. As I said, if you're new around here, give it a like, give it a comment, give it a share, give it a bloody good subscribe. Maybe become a channel member. This is the final call for the Luckster to let me know to email me at westhamnetwork@gmail.com because you won the signed shirt. If we haven't claimed it, it's been over 2 months, then we'll give it out to, we'll do another members draw tomorrow to give that out because it's important to give someone the opportunity to have it rather than stay covered in dust in Anton's cupboard. Well, it's not covered in dust, but you know what I mean. If you'd like to become a channel member, press down there and then you're automatically entered into every prize draw we've had. Actually, I've got to send out Mikey from your countdown. He was Mikey the Game fan. He's now a West Ham fan. He's a member. He won the signed program from Keith Robson, which I need to try and mail out to when I have 5 minutes to myself. And as I said, we'll probably do a rerun of the signed West Ham squad shirt. So take care, everyone. Stay safe. Wash those hands. Stay lucky. Stay cheeky. Stay positive. Always stay positive. And I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Take care, my friends. Ciao, ciao for now.
say. Once you let it change. It's like a family tree. Part of you